Hey everyone, welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith. I'm at the GTS Distribution Come and Play Day in Atlanta, and I'm here with Jules Vautour of Asmodee, and you've brought another game with you.
Yep.
And this is Timeline Challenge.
Yep. This is a brand new game from Asmodee.
I'm familiar with Timeline.
Are you?
It comes in a little box.
Correct.
This is
So
it's the bigger box.
Yeah, this is completely compatible with all your old Timeline games.
Okay.
But Asmodee, Cyril, who also works with Yastari, Cyril Damage, and Frederic Henry, designed a whole new way to incorporate and revamp the Timeline experience.
Okay.
It was a very streamlined game where you were putting cards in the right timeline, obviously,
right,
as the title explains. But this actually creates more of an interactive experience. It can also be played in bigger groups. You can
right,
play up to 10 players in teams. And it has just a whole bunch of different elements that not only bring new life to the game, but also let you incorporate your old games, like I said previously, into this one as well.
You're going to bring the cards you already have in here?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you can bring in all of them. Actually, in the box, I think we'll show that a little later.
Here, we can take a quick look. I noticed there's room here.
Yep. So
like
they've actually made an insert where you can store your extra Timeline games. You have these dials, which we'll get to in a minute, and store all your pieces.
Okay.
So yeah, you can play regular Timeline with the ones. There's actually a new Timeline game in Timeline Challenge that you can play regular Timeline with, or vice versa.
I go with this full experience. So tell me about this experience. What are we doing here? I see we've got some player pieces here.
Yep.
Right? And what are we trying to do?
So
how does it work?
The main object of the game is to get to the finish line here first. If you do that, you win. And we'll play with this sort of time dial, if you will,
yes,
in order for us to complete the different challenges.
Okay.
We all start on the first square,
yes,
which brings us to the green challenge here.
Right, symbols match, gotcha.
Everybody has these player aids.
Yep.
And there's 5 different tiles on the board, and this one would be Timeline 4. So what we're going to do in this one is we would draw 4 tiles without ever looking at the date, and we'll put them on the board here, right?
Yep.
If you notice, on this challenge, there are symbols here, which also match on your player dial.
Right, each of these numbers.
And the dial goes from 0 to 9.
Okay.
So we'll be able to use these to create dates and do all kinds of stuff. So in this particular challenge, what we're going to do is, up here there is a track with different time periods along the way.
Ranges, okay.
Yeah. So for the circle, we have to figure out if the invention of the rake was in one of these periods. The number is indicated here. So if I would think that it's between 1300 and 1600, I would take the circle symbol and I would go, okay, this is number 3, and I'll program that one. Then I'll go to the triangle and go the invention of the cooking stove. Oh, I think this one may be 4, and I would program that. Once
we're all doing this, right?
We're all doing this at the same time.
Okay.
We keep our answers hidden.
Yes.
Once everybody's gotten their answer, we would reveal.
Okay.
Right?
I want to score yours now because I'm curious to see.
The last 2 I did whatever.
Let's just do these ones.
So I did this one. Oh, I'm way off. So I'd said 3 and it's actually 0. So if I would have programmed 0 here, I would advance 1 square.
You get 1 point.
And so would you.
Okay.
Okay? And everybody would do that. Then
everyone who got it right would get a point for that.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
And then we'd go down all 4 cards.
1755.
So in this round, you could score a maximum of 4 cards. So we'd move forward like this, for example, and I got none right. And then we'd remove these cards, put them in the discard pile, and then move on to the next challenge. The next challenge is decided by the start player. Okay. The start player now is on the red one, and the red one is the bet. So we would take a card, put it here, always never revealing the dates.
Right.
The bet is actually one where you're going to hedge your bets. So we only have the 1 card that's showing here, and it's the first aqueduct.
Okay.
So I can bet up to 4 times now, right? We have 4 dials, and if I think that it's probably 0 or 1, let's just say.
Right.
I could bet all 4 on 0, and if that's the correct answer, I would score 4 points moving on the track.
Right. Oh, so you're only picking what you're trying to find the one period that fits into, but if you're not sure, you could split it.
Yeah, so I could go 0, 1, 2. I could go, I think 0's right, but I'll go 1, 2 just to play it safe.
Right.
And maybe score 1 point instead of scoring none.
All right, I get it.
And so it becomes very important later on when you get close to the finish, right? Because if someone's in the lead, you're going to have to go all in.
Push for it.
Yep.
Right. Okay, I get it.
So again, we'd reveal the answer, and the answer was 0.
Yes.
So in this time, I hedged my bets. I went 0 and 1, just for the example. So I would score 2 points. and you had, let's just say you had picked it 3 times, you
Right.
would move forward 3. We would just move again 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3.
And again, the challenge you do is always dictated by whoever's
the lead
farthest
player.
ahead, right?
Yep.
And so we have a couple other ones here. Like this one here, the one in blue, that allows you to.
This is the split.
Right.
So what we do is we draw 2 cards.
Yes.
Like this, and we read them out loud. So this is the breeding of the first Cocker Spaniel and the invention of the dictionary.
Is this the one where we have to like try to figure out how many years are between them?
Exactly.
And we program those exactly.
We program them. Okay. And this one is interesting because only one player will score. Whoever's closest will score 4 points in this one.
Okay.
So that's this challenge. We've seen the bet. I guess the next one we can do is the yellow, which is called the right date. And what you'll do in the yellow one, if we're players here,
Yes.
we'll do the thing.
The founding of the Aztec Empire.
Right. So at the beginning of the dial, you also have a plus minus. So if you need
That's
to go
right. There's a
AD or
plus minus
BC, you could do the plus minus here. And then we'll put in the dates. And
So we're looking for the specific date.
we're
we put
looking
this
for the
on.
specific date.
Let me guess. Closest to?
No, actually, no. You're going to score a point for each digit that is correct.
Oh.
So let's say it's minus 0, 1, 25
Sure.
or whatever. If I have 0, 1, 2 right, that would
Yes.
give me 3 points. If I get them all right, it would
That's
give
clever.
me.
I like that. Okay.
So and then again, simple scoring mechanism, you move forward.
Right. Based on how
The
many.
game does have a little nuance in it to help people that are not as
Performing
knowledgeable.
as well?
Correct.
As you or I might be?
Right. So what happens is, here there are 2 spots on the board where you actually get an opportunity to catch up if you're trailing behind. So the last 2 players that are on the timeline board will face off against each other in a sudden death. This one is a sudden death match.
okay.
So what we're going to do now is we are going to play a game of timeline. And like the regular game, you would start with 1 starting date, and then a player would just put it one. Either the next card would go before or after.
They'll make a guess, and
Yeah.
they reveal and see if they were right or not.
Correct. So let's just say this one is 542.
Right.
Then I can either play before, after, or in between the timeline if
Right.
needed. First one to get it wrong is out. The player who won the sudden death match moves forward 3 squares on the board. And so, if we're back here, well, all of a sudden, 1, 2, 3,
Now
I'm
you're a
caught up with
contender again.
Exactly.
Right, okay. And one of the things I like about Timeline particularly is there are trivia games where the question you're asked, you just have no clue whatsoever.
Correct,
But
yeah.
this is, you're guessing a period of time. You're saying, is this before, is this after? Or amongst these 4 things, what do I think? And even if you're not sure, you can look sometimes at the art and kind of get a little clue.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone's ever really left at the table feeling like a dummy. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
right. And you know what? If you look at it also on the board, they've actually done that again. So on the top here, you have these
Right.
periods we talked about. But if you look at the artwork here, you're able to coordinate the card with the artwork.
Right.
And it
Gives you a
sort of
clue,
gives you a
visual
guidance. And then, okay, so it's between these periods. So if I'm playing other challenges, I can take that into
Right.
account. And the great thing about this is, it's a great game you can play with family. The kids are having fun.
Yes.
But they're also learning.
And listen, I play against Luke, my son, and he's a contender.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's playing, and he's definitely won games with us, and it challenges you. And and with the catch-up mechanic, even if you're lagging behind, you have a chance to run up, right?
Yep. And so game ends when one team or one player, because you also have the opportunity to play this game as a team or in team play. First player or first pawn to get to the center wins the game.
Now there is one extra challenge here as well.
Yep.
I want to mention this one because I think this one's pretty fun. So
Okay,
can you tell me how this one works?
Sure. So again, we're in catch-up mode. Last 2 players participate.
Right. So let's say you're in the lead.
I'm in the lead. I would say,
You would draw. You would look at the date.
I look at the date so I know it.
Right.
So let's just say there's another fictitious player. I would say the invention of the spade. You would start with
The invention of the spade.
Yep.
Okay. Like the shovel.
Yep,
Yeah,
correct.
Okay. All right. And so I would say, I would just guess a date.
Yep.
1732.
A lot less. And so
wow.
I would just say more or less normally.
Yes.
But the other player,
He might say a lot less just to rub it in. You know?
yeah, I would. But the other player would then have their guess until you get
And
it
if they're
right.
wrong, they come back
Yeah,
to me. And
and
back
so
and
I would
forth.
say more or less to both
Okay.
players, and so you're shrinking the
Yeah.
guessing range, and then after that, whoever gets it right, again moves forward 3 squares on the board, and that's pretty it.
Well, Jules, thank you so much for giving us an overview
my
of this
pleasure.
game.
Thank you
feel
for
like,
having us.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw a lot of how this game works. Is this available yet? Is it coming out soon?
Yeah, we're in the process of shipping it now, and it'll be available first week of November 2015. in stores.
And it's for 2 to 10 players, approximately
30 minutes to
30
play.
minutes? Okay.
You know, depending on the amount of players.
Sure.
We've played it in a lot less. And then the age range is 10 plus. But to be honest with you, if you want to play the team element of the game, you can play it with younger kids as well. And,
sure, have them partner with you even,
exactly.
Right?
So, you know, this is just a great family game. A lot of interaction, and learn while you play.
Yeah, and I can testify to the age range because we have a video actually on our channel where we teach the original game of Timeline, and my daughter and son, who was quite young at the time, are playing it together. So if you're interested in seeing the original Timeline, which this again works with, you can definitely check that out. Jules, thanks again for coming and taking the time to show us this. Really great.
Thanks for having me, Rodney. I really
it's
appreciate
a pleasure
it.
every time, every
Cool.
time. And to the rest of you, of course, until the next episode, thanks for watching.
Thanks, everyone.